Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you've done so many stuff, and yeah, you remember. But that's all good. I'm glad we're starting with this one because this is really like one of the most like fundamental positions, and I really want to get you to a point where you could hold this position or similar against anyone, like Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru. It doesn't matter as long as you have time on the clock. Like your hand just knows what to do.
Okay.
So let's talk about a little bit, and then I'll have you kind of play it out. Um, Basically, well, this is known as the Philidor position, or you can also call it the Philidor defense. Because if you're playing white, you're down a pawn, you're trying to hold the draw, of course. And pretty much like most rook endgames will come down to either this kind of position, like if it comes down to one pawn, either a Philidor, or another one we'll review is the Lucina,
Yeah.
right? Which
I
is basically when the stronger side is going to be winning the game.
yeah. I remember the name Lucina, but
But how to do it,
yeah.
yeah, a little harder. No, but hopefully this lesson is serves as a really good review. The key thing to remember here in these endgames is that if the defending king, this is kind of like the most important like rule of thumb. If the defending king can control the queening square of the pawn, then you can hold the draw easily.
Okay.
If not, if the king gets pushed out, that's when you start to get into Lucina territory. And that's when it's not always a win, but that's when the stronger side actually has some chances to win the game. So
Okay.
basically, White's job here is to kind of prevent the king from getting flushed out. And how would the king get kicked out? Well, for example, if let's say White gave this check, and then Black plays here.
I know
Now,
already.
already White's king has to leave e1, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this would be a problem. And this is where your short side, long side thing, this is where it's useful. So if you already have this position, you have to start running with the king. Pretty much always your king should run to the short side, which basically for
Okay.
anyone that doesn't know means there's less files on this side of the board. So this would be the short side. Then the rook would go to the long side and try to give checks.
Okay.
But that's advanced. So before we even talk about that, let's go back here. And yeah, so now let me ask you, how can we try to stop Black's king from getting in?
Because you played Rook F8 check and you said it's not good. I mean, like, I already know that. I think maybe I should try to bring the Rook to B4. No, yes, B4. Rook
Okay.
B4, pinning the pawn so cannot advance. And if King E3, I just check the Rook B3 check and has to go back.
Let's try it. So rook b4.
Yeah.
So you're right. If king e3, you have this check. And then you're able to keep your king on e1. Black has to go back. You're still holding.
Yeah.
Problem is, Black can try this move.
Oh.
And now they're threatening to give you a check, and your king is going to have to evacuate, right? And that's where we start to have problems. And we can't even go to the short side anymore, so that could be really, really bad. Probably just losing. So
Okay.
we not only have to deal with this one, we also have to deal with this one.
That's a problem. Okay. If okay. So if we go rook b4 and king f3, if I check, he just pushed the pawn and threat checkmate,
Right.
right? And I'm in trouble here. If I just go rook b1, maybe change sides, rook h2.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Let's just put it on the board for the viewers. Let's say you started with this one, king here, check, pawn up. And then, yeah, at this point, black is now threatening mate. It would be great if our rook could somehow start giving checks from the back, right? But here our rook is misplaced. And then we're forced to what we call passive defense, where you're just like defending the king, but yeah, rook h2 and it's game over. We're just, well, not game over yet. Black is going to get Lucina position, and then we'll have to win that. Actually, here it's really over because it's just check.
Yeah, check. Yeah.
Taking the rook. Okay, so here we can conclude white's lost.
Yeah, it's lost.
All right, so yeah, this is a problem. So how do we stop both of these moves?
Okay. What about rook b3?
Rook b3, absolutely.
Okay.
So this move, this is like the key idea you got to remember. This is like kind of what's called the Philidor defense. Another way to remember it is 6th rank defense. It's not really the 6th rank, it's the 3rd rank, but from black's point of view, it's the 6th rank. And if white was the one with the pawn, right, then black would be defending there. Okay. So now this move makes it very, very hard for black to create progress. Most logical move would be, let's say, e3, right? You push the pawn first, you try to get king f3 and mate the king. But this is a little bit different because now white has an extra tempo compared to the previous line. So how would you defend from here?
I go back with the rook to start checking the king from the back, like rook b8.
Exactly. Perfect. Rook b8. And now actually it's very easy because now this king has nowhere to hide. Earlier we saw like rook f8 check, the king was hiding in front of the pawn, and then that was a problem here. The king can no longer hide. Black can give some checks, but it doesn't do anything. White's king just stays in front of the pawn. And it's very hard for black to escape the checks. Any move, you're just checking from behind. Check, 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 check. Black can try to, let's say, block with the rook. Let's say this. So how would you proceed from here?
Just check.
Mm-hmm.
Check rook f8 check.
Yeah. Why don't you make the move so you get used to like playing this position out, and then I'll play black.
Okay. I just take.
Good. And in this position, you know you can hold, right?
Yeah.
And you could hold it against anyone. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. So this is kind of the goal, right? Like, it's like building out your endgame base. Like, you already know this position 100%. You'll hold it, no problem. Like, blindfold, like 2 seconds on your clock. Like, you just know it really well. And so the more of these positions you kind of add to your base, it's like the easier it is during the game, because then you can try to navigate to one of these end games and it becomes much easier to calculate because you don't have to calculate any further. You already know it's a draw and you know exactly how to hold it.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So this is a key point. You know, sometimes black can offer a rook trade, but if you have a way to just trade into a drawn king and pawn endgame, then easy, you're done. And if black doesn't do this, well, not much they can do. You're about to give a bunch of checks, and that's it. You're just checking, 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 checking.
Yeah.
So this is the key idea to remember. Like, you're defending on the 6th rank. You're waiting for black to advance the pawn first, not the king. So you're not letting black get the king in front of the pawn. And as soon as the pawn pushes, then you're just coming back.
Yeah, I feel it's important to know the rook has to be in this sixth is line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6th rank, 3rd rank, exactly.
Rank. Okay, rank.
Okay. So let's play a bit from here. I'll play black. I'll try to, I don't know, trick you somehow. You try to hold with white.
Okay.
But this is really the main idea you need to understand. The rook holds along the 3rd rank until black pushes the pawn, and then you run back.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I'll try. Let me flip the board. Okay. Did that flip the board for you, or you still see it from white side?
I see the black side.
Oh, okay. Let's flip it back. So we'll see it from white side. All right. I'll go here.
I feel like I don't have to panic and just go here. Oh.
Okay, good, good. So you did fine. One thing I just want to stress is, like, you're kind of making it hard on yourself.
Why?
So, like, here, all right, rook b8, then check, and then another check. But then you always have to calculate, like, ooh, like, check, are you going to have another check here? You don't need to calculate anything. Just keep your rook on the 3rd rank.
Okay. I can. I was not sure if I can bring the rook to the other side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your rook is fine anywhere. So, in fact,
Okay.
it's a really simple hold because there's just, you know, as soon as black plays e3, you're always in time
Okay.
from one side or the other. So it's
Okay.
really quite simple. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I was not sure. I was thinking maybe there is something, but yeah.
Right. Well, that's why practicing is so important, because it's like, yeah, you learn the idea. It's like, okay, then you're not sure, and then during the game, you give one wrong check, and that's it, game over. It's like, it's very punishing, these positions. You have to be very, very careful. But
Yeah.
yeah, here actually, this one, as long as you're patient, it's quite simple, and there's just honestly, there's not even like a trick that black can really get you in. You know,
Okay.
very, very hard for black to win this. Okay, any questions?
Um. No. For now, no. I don't
Okay,
have questions.
good. Let's go on. So this endgame, I would say, yeah, 100%. Like probably most important rook endgame is just like knowing how to hold this one. Because then a lot of endgames will come down to this position. For example, you have like 3 pawns versus 2 on the king side. You know, the opponent is going to be trying to create a pass pawn. Eventually, they can only really make 1 pass pawn, and then you want to make sure you're in position to defend against it. But let's go on. Let's go to Lucina. Maybe just as
Yeah.
important is to know how to win the Lucina. Actually, before we do that, let me just give you one puzzle real quick that
Okay.
hopefully you can solve.
Yeah. This
All right.
one?
Yeah, it's white to play.
Oh. Okay. Can I? Oh, rook d. No. Rook g5.
This one? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Only move to save the game.
Oh my god.
Nice. Okay, so this shows you understand like what you need to do, right? Rook goes to 3rd rank.
Yeah.
So this move deals with this one and this one. So that's why other moves like rook a5 wouldn't work, because black goes king e3, right? And then we have issues. This one runs into d3, this one allows this, and then our rook is out of place. So rook g5, very precise move. Of course, this is like a puzzle, right? It's like in most positions, you know, you'll be able to get the rook back pretty easily. Here, it's like, oh, there's no rook c3, so you have to be very precise and shift over. Let's say black tries king f4.
F4. And okay. I think I just go back. Rook g8.
G8. Yeah. Now at this point, I think you have a lot of moves, but this is kind of the simplest because now your rook is very flexible and you're still in touch with the 3rd rank. So king e3, you give check. If king e4,
Well, anyway, I go rook g3.
rook g3. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you could, in this position, right, you could also give this check and then this one, but there's no need. Rook g3 is just way easier. And then again, you're just holding, just shifting your rook on the 3rd rank until black finally pushes the pawn, and then we got the same draws from before. Okay, very good. I just want to end that one just to really kind of crystallize the idea.